Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome in to another vacation edition of Snaps. We apologize for not uploading an episode yesterday. I remain on the West Coast. Aaron remains in the Georgia islands. Like we actually are about as far apart as you could possibly be. After spending the time together in Nashville, we have now decided to physically distance ourselves from one of those far apart as we could be. And it's just like, family stuff. We couldn't end up finding time yesterday. But we are back today, and I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. I'll get in to why I'm nervous in a second. But, thanks, as always. Hit the like button, subscribe, youtube.com/@volumesnaps, and rate and view the pod, whatever we can tell you about that later. Aaron, what's up, man? How's the vacay going? How are we feeling? So, to me, it's still the afternoon. It's nighttime to you. You're getting ready to head back tomorrow.
Yeah, getting ready to head back tomorrow. I think the show's actually shooting on Friday, so we're going to be back in home base, which will be great. But it's been a good vacation, man. It's been a really good vacation, and now it's football time. Camp started this week for teams across America. We had Thursday night football. I think this show's going to be tomorrow. Thursday night football last night, so a lot of good stuff going on when it comes to the football world.
Yeah, so at the time of this recording, we are about 10 minutes away from preseason football cranking up, and obviously college practices start today. I don't know about you. I saw one clip on social media of Jaden Daniels throwing on air to a receiver that wasn't running, and my God, it looked smooth. It looked accurate. He was spinning the ball, Aaron. If you have not gotten your bets in on Daniels, second best Heisman odds in the country, do so now. And Aaron, the reason why I haven't put your Carson Beck bet in is because I'm trying to save you money because he just doesn't have a chance. Hey, what do you have any camp? How did you used to feel first day camp? Do you have any memories? Like, how did you used to handle it mentally? It can be a very intimidating thing.
Yeah, I would say the only first day intimidation was my freshman year. Like that was intimidating. Going out there and trying to have any sort of success when your head's still spinning. I would say like second, third, fourth year. Really, the start of camp is kind of the same stuff you've been doing for the past 2 months. Sorry to get everyone excited for no reason here, but the first week is somewhat chill until you really put the pads on, which happened day 4, day 5. So for some teams, maybe the end of this week they are, but the beginning of camp was like, for me, it's 7-on-7. I'm not getting hit. I'm a quarterback. Yes, I'm a prima donna. Say every shit you want to say, T-Bob. Like, I'm not banging. Like, for you guys, offensive lineman, defensive line, like, yeah, you're going ahead. You're hitting each other. Like, there's that physical aspect to it. Like, for me, I'm just throwing passes. That's it. I'm just throwing the football. Like, that's all that's going on. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm just gonna be honest. I was never in like a quarterback competition from my freshman year on, so I was never stressed out. It was I had a good life. I'm gonna be honest. I had a really good life. No stress here.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of crazy to think about because even when you don't have pads on O-line, D-line, you're still hitting each other. It actually sucks because you're just hitting each other without pads. It's really, really dumb. I would say this. To me, the thing that was intimidating wasn't always the physical. It was just knowing that, like, for the next month, you are going to be doing football stuff essentially 6 a.m. to like 10 p.m. And it is going to be constant and it's going to be a grind. And during those few weeks, like, that is where you're ultimately going to decide your fate. Like, it's interesting you say you never really had a quarterback battle. I never entered a camp in which I was a starter. I never entered a camp number one in the depth chart, and yet I ended up starting 3 years. So for me, this experience was always one where, like, I had to go out there and I just had to grind at practice, had to keep my nose down, and eventually find a way. I would say this: if you're a football player, young player, maybe college, high school, whatever, listening to this, you just got to compartmentalize, okay? Do not think about the month as a whole or the camp as a whole. It will overwhelm you. Put the blinders on, zero in on that day, that task, what is ever immediately in front of your face, and then you look up, and a couple weeks have gone by, and the season's about to begin, and you're ready to go. But
I thought it was to me it was I always had the mindset. I think the coaches try to trick us into this too of there's no school. Like, you guys want to be professionals. Yeah, this is the closest thing you'll ever get to being a professional. You wake up and it's football. you get a little bit of lunch break, and then it's football. Then you go to dinner, and then it's more football. I mean, it is truly the NFL when it comes to what you do in the NFL training camp. And I think that's what, to me as a player, got me excited, knowing that, I didn't have to deal with going to 3 classes. I didn't have to deal with going from one side of the campus to the other side of the campus. It was literally just wake up and I'm going to go play football. And I know for some guys it's grueling, it's tiring, it's exhausting. But man, if you had your shit together and you did the right things for the previous 2 months leading up to it, it's just football. Like, let's not make a big deal of it. It's just football. You've been doing it your entire life, and you're making such a big deal. It's so exhausting. I'm so tired.
It's such, guys. Oh my God, I have to hit. No. Shut the fuck up.
It's football.
I need everybody.
Baby. No. You're so soft.
I need everybody listening to understand this is a privileged quarterback take here. It's exactly what he just said. They don't get hit. It's a glorified 7-on-7. Like, mentally, yes, it's tough, but okay, I'm moving on because I cannot even handle. Like, I bet you.
One last story to really hit home how much I loved camp. So every 5th day we would do a special teams practice, only special teams, and we would show up quarterback wise, and we would do essentially a warm up. Then we'd go on the sideline, take our shoulder pads off, and put ice on our shoulders, and just sit there for about an hour and a half watching everyone else practice.
Special teams practice, dude. Mark Rick, that's the softest shit I ever heard. We used to do 2-a-days, like men, the way that football was supposed to be played.
I'm with you.
Back in the day.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so it's the beginning of camp. And what that means is it's also the beginning of media access. And I started this pod talking about how I was feeling a bit nervous. And Aaron, I have a feeling what you're going to say, but Alabama had their first practice and Nick Saban met with the media. And there is a picture circulating of Nick Saban when he leaves that press conference. And my God, it is deeply unsettling for a couple of reasons. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. If you're listening on podcast right now, it is Nick Saban walking away from the podium, having just finished the conference, and he has a genuine smile on his face. Not a fake one, not a mean one, not one of those ones where it doesn't touch your eyes. He is genuinely happy right here. It is the look of a man who is supremely confident about his Alabama football team. I am more worried about Alabama now after that picture than I have ever been up to this point.
No, I think this is a man who understands where he is and understands that this is a good team this year that has a lot of obstacles. And there's some doubt in the national media. But just going to say, you know what, screw it. I'm going to roll the punches a little bit here. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to enjoy myself this season. No pressure on me. This is the first time in a long time that I feel like we're not talking about Alabama as the heavy favorites to win the West, as Alabama, the team that should be in the playoffs, the team that should be fighting for a championship. To me, that is fun for him knowing that where he's at.
Well, exactly. And that's what's so terrifying is because I don't want Nick Saban having fun. Nick Saban having fun is something that is deeply unsettling. It's like seeing your dad naked or something as an adult. It's just something that you're not supposed to see. And it just goes back to everything. I know you don't really believe in the bulletin board material stuff. I do think the bulletin board material stuff is pretty legitimate. And you can see, like you said, that loose, relaxed Saban. He opened his press conference, though, with an interesting kind of State of the Union on quarterback, where he said, look, I know y'all are going to ask about it, and I'm going to say the same thing. I'm just going to keep saying, look, all the players are getting reps. Somebody has to take the bull by the horns. We're not going to, I'm not going to tell you who that is until we're going to continue to let this cake bake. He stuck with the cake baking metaphor that he started at SEC Media Days. But one thing I really loved is he when discussing the competition, and this is good advice just really for probably anybody in any facet of life, but definitely an athlete if you're competing, he talked about how and it's funny because just last night somebody showed me this Mike Tomlin speech, or Tomlin said the same thing basically. But he basically said, like, look, you're not competing. If you're Ty Simpson or Jalen Milroe or Tyler Buckner, you're not competing against those other guys. You are competing against yourself. You have to carry yourself as if you are the man. You have to better yourself as much as you can day in and day out. And if you stack those good days and you don't worry about what the other guy is doing, is he playing well, is he playing bad, and you just focus inward, you're going to look up. And if you stacked enough good days and played well enough, then you're going to be the guy.
Yeah.
So I love
that's easier said than done, though.
Through this.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad he's the one like kind of coaching him through this because, I told you and told everyone listening about the 4 years where I didn't have any sort of competition. Like I knew I was going to be QB1. Well, my redshirt year, there was a competition. Your boy, Zach Mettenberger, who I don't know if you were teammates with him or not at LSU.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that is my boy.
Yeah. So you know, Matt.
He's an Alabama analyst now.
Yeah, now he's definitely gone to dark side. But anyways, like there was always that, pressure. We both came in together. 2 top 6, 7 quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah, big time.
And one of us was going to be given the job to be the starting quarterback at Georgia. So I understand the saying to the kids, hey man, just focus on you. That's all you can take care of is you. Just worry about running the offense the way that's supposed to be running. But when you're a quarterback who knows that it's only one guy going to get the start and you have to ball out in these practices in order to get it, you are constantly looking over your shoulder. This isn't receivers that rotate. This is an offensive line or running backs or DBs. Like there's only one QB, and that guy's going to be the guy for the entire season. No rotation at all, besides maybe a blowout or an injury. So if Met had a good day, I was looking at the film and looking over my shoulder saying, damn, like I got to step my game up the next day. If I had a good day, I'm sure Met was seeing the same thing. So now all of a sudden for Alabama, there's 3 of them. So there's always that sense of, yes, I need to run the offense. Yes, I need to, if it's not there, I need to throw the ball away or I need to check it down. But just put us into their shoes. Say Ty Simpson goes out there, goes in an 11-11 drill with the ones. He goes 5 for 5 and throws a touchdown. You can't tell me Buckner or Milroe gets in there thinking I got to match that. Because if I get up there and nothing's open and I throw the ball away, it kind of looks at me because people will say, okay, what went wrong? Was it his fault? Was someone else's fault? Like there's a lot of mental gymnastics when you're in a quarterback battle that these guys have to understand. Just run the offense. The coaches will make the decision at the end of the day. Don't force the ball if it's not there just because the other guy may be having success at practice.
So you're actually saying the exact thing. Look, I'm not saying that there's not the human element when you're in a competition that like I said, I had to earn my way starting every year. And my focus was that where I would try to be insular and I'd try to just focus on me. But I'd be lying if I said when I watched film and the guy like sailed a snap that I didn't do a little like fist pump up under the table, right? Like, So, but the problem is, again, when the other guy does have a better day than you, where you will beat yourself is if, like you said, you start to try to play, if that becomes your focus and you're trying to play catch up and you're trying to match, you have to focus inward and let the chips fall where they may. And I'm going to be fascinated. I really do not know on this Alabama quarterback competition. I thought that it was going to be Ty Simpson for sure, but then I had some information come to me that like, maybe they really like Buckner, and then I still think you involve Milroe. So I'm intrigued to see. All I know is I hate seeing this relaxed Nick Saban.
What would you rather have? Like some? Would you rather have the relaxed smiling Nick Saban or the Nick Saban not looking mad, but almost that determined face coming off the podium of like, yeah, I'm here for business this year. Like I'm here to kind of prove the doubters wrong.
No, because that was last year, and they felt like they had to do it last year because they had Will Anderson and they had Bryce Young. They are freed from all of that. It's like you said, this is the most expectation-free Bama has ever been this year, and that's a little scary to me, dude. I know it's not to you. You know the what is
Once
it?
Again, everyone's so scared. Everyone's so scared.
In red and black, bro. Y'all haven't even beat them. What the fuck are you talking about? You went 1-1 the year when you won the Natty. Like what? I'm saying what's
we did beat them
record one time. I'm saying what's Kirby Smart's record?
We still beat them.
I'm saying is you're very high and mighty for a team to beat them.
I'm not being high and mighty.
A couple of wide receivers.
I'm also just not being scared. That's it. It's plain and simple. Like I look at the roster and I look at it and say, this team does not scare me.
Okay. Well, you're going to learn when that little happy Nick comes smiling down comes swaggering down. Okay, but we can move on from Alabama and Nick Saban. I have a bad taste in my mouth having to talk so good about them. I just, again, deeply unsettling to see happy Nick Saban. Shout out to the Michigan State Spartans. They opened up camp today as well. They had a video that I was kind of blown away by today. I always forget how crazy East Lansing is about college football. Like when you think about the Big Ten, and we forget how good Michigan State was just a few years ago with D'Antoni. Where is it, D'Antoni or D'Antoni? I always get the basketball coach and football coach confused, but it doesn't matter. Whatever. Like they were way ahead of Michigan. They were the ones competing with Ohio State. They were better than Penn State. They were fighting for playoffs seemingly year in and year out, and then it just all fell apart shockingly fast. And granted, Mel Tucker was able to catch lightning in a bottle with the transfer portal, Kenneth Walker and everything, but it's not been good since. But it doesn't appear that it's dismayed the donors, because Michigan State has what looks like, I won't say the nicest locker room in the country, but they're right up there with like the top five.
Yeah.
They're right up there with Alabama, LSU, everybody else. Like now the team has to be good, and it just puts even more pressure on Tucker. But if nothing else, the people in East Lansing deeply care and want to be good at football.
Well, they definitely deeply care, but let's also remember, this wasn't money that just came out this past year. This was money that has been in the pipeline for years, and this project, I'm sure, has been going on for years. So it's not like, oh my God, they still suck, let's just go give X amount of dollars to build this facility. Like, no, this was, hey, things are going well. Mel Tucker came in, had success early on. Let's give him a big fat raise. Also, let's go raise X amount of dollars and let's start this project. So this project is on the backs of the good times, not the bad times. So yeah, it's a passionate fan base. Yes, they love Michigan State, but I would say right now it's more of, show me the money kind of feeling. Like, Tucker, you got to go out there and win.
This is crazy, dude. In 2013 with D'Antonio, Michigan State went 13-1. Won the Rose Bowl. Then they went 11-2, won the Cotton Bowl. Then they went 12-2, losing in the Cotton Bowl. Then a random 3-9. Then back to 10-3, and then 7-6, 7-6, 2-5, 11-2, 5-7. That is I thought following teams like LSU came with their ups and downs. That is feast or famine right there. Like they're either like double-digit season or completely mediocre. And look, I don't know that I'm a Mel Tucker believer. I was, I was when he was having all the success with Kenneth Walker. But I guess it's weird on Tucker. Like, where do you stand? Have you made your mind up on him? Like, do you think he's the guy capable of getting Michigan State back to that 11-2 yearly sort of bar?
No, not the 11-2. I just think there's enough good teams in that conference, and there's going to be even more good teams going forward, where I don't feel like this is the year to do it. And then you look at next year, and then I'm sure we're going to get a tad bit on realignment here in a second. But you had two more good programs. You possibly could add Oregon and Washington, maybe FSU and another ACC team. Like, it's going to get harder and harder, and a lot of these are more traditional, bigger brands that are going to get more talent, that have just as dedicated fan bases, that have the money and the resources to compete. So I just don't think of Michigan State as that consistent double win team. I look at them as maybe a step above, like, say, Kentucky in the SEC. That maybe can get you a 9-win season every now and then.
No, stop.
I don't see them being. I do not see them being a consistent team that is competing for a Big Ten championship, and I don't see them as a consistent team competing for a playoff berth.
How about this? In 2010, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 8 years, from 10 to 17, they won 11 games 6 times in 8 years. So we already have it proven in the modern era that they can.
Yeah, but that's when Michigan. That's when Michigan. It was a weak Michigan, very weak Michigan. I think Michigan has completely stolen the thunder from that state.
God,
It is Michigan and Harbaugh going forward. Yeah.
How bad is that hurt for Sparty? You basically kicked their ass for a decade, and then overnight they just like rocketed past you, and now they're competing for national championships.
I think going for it. I'm not looking at. I'm not looking at it in the rewind. Like, yes, they have a better history than, say, Kentucky football, but where they are right now, to me, is in a similar spot to where Kentucky football is. A team that's good enough to get to 8 or 9 wins, but that's the ceiling for them in this conference going forward. And with Michigan being where they're at right now.
Yeah. Okay. I apologize. I see more of what you're saying on the Kentucky thing. I thought I was thinking more in the past. Like, Kentucky's never proven that they can win 10 games consistently ever in their history. So look, you know what? All it tells me when I look at that locker room again is that Michigan State has it's just, is Mel Tucker the guy? And I'm going to give Mel Tucker a pass on 2020. 2-5, I'm not counting. He got there late because Antonio left at that weird time. Like, I'm not counting that against him at all. But we have an 11-2 season and a 7-5 season. And so, 5-7. So it's like, okay, Mel Tucker, where on that scale are you going to fall closer to? Big year for Sparty. And then if they aren't good this year, I feel awful for those fans because you're locked in. You're in like a Jimbo Fisher spot and you ain't getting out of it. Aaron, it's funny. Conference realignment is in the air. At the same time, it seems like everybody's completely sick of talking about conference realignment. You got
what's worse to talk about NIL or conference realignment? Like, what are fans more?
It's reached NIL. It's reached NIL status. Like, I was laughing.
See, I enjoy it. I think it's quite entertaining, honestly. Like, I think trying to figure out where, and if an FSU can get out of their grant of rights. Is Oregon and Washington, who are now having meetings with their board. The Big Ten has been given essentially the green light to go out there and vet these 2 schools and possibly bring them in. Like, we may see next week the final nail in the coffin of the Pac-12. I think it's going to happen. We've been talking about it. Colorado was that first piece. Brumley, you have some news, Brumley?
You're muted.
I think the problem is the issue is starting to feel inevitable. And I think that is why it is boring.
I think it is inevitable. It's happening. It's the nail is about to be shut on the Pac-12. As soon as Oregon and Washington leave, you can't survive on a streaming contract that when your Pac-12 channel sucked and you're going to bet on people paying for that. Like, no, that ain't going to happen. Like, you're never going to reach the number to have success. So, like,
what do you think?
I think they all kind of.
Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
I just it's dead. Oregon and Washington right now are sitting back laughing, saying, we'll take a little bit of a price reduction in the Big Ten, better than relying on a streaming service to keep our program alive.
Brum, the behind the scenes stuff, so I want to bring you in here. What do you think? Like, when Kliavkoff and Apple are sitting there and they're hammering out this deal over what is essentially a dead body, right? Like a deal for something that won't exist. Like, Brum, what do you think the Apple executives are thinking when Kliavkoff's like pushing for millions of dollars and all this other stuff? Like, are they thinking it's a waste of time?
I think that anything Apple does, they're just, like millions of dollars, $20 million to 9 schools a year to Apple is nothing. You forget that
it's
Apple
nothing.
It's nothing. A $3 trillion company. It's literally a rounding error. So, like,
$3 trillion?
I think it's $3 trillion now.
I did read something that even like Disney's like 5% of the market cap, or maybe even less than Apple was. It's like, what?
No, it's insane. It's apples and bowling balls. There's no comparison.
I'm still shocked because the whole Disney thing that went on 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago with the firing, and Disney looking to maybe offload a portion of ESPN to some sort of streaming service. And Apple has been floated, Amazon's been floated. If there wasn't a bigger way to make this deal for the Pac-12 a little bit more sexier, where ESPN jumps in for part of it and Apple jumps in for part of it, so ESPN can have a little bit more of a test run with essentially a streaming service. under the umbrella of Disney. So I don't know. All that being said, it's still I'm not going to bet money on that if I'm Oregon and Washington, knowing that the rest of the country is sitting back, knowing that they're going to get minimum $70 million a year in the SEC and the Big Ten. It's just it's not feasible for them. So that's going to be the final one. And, I mean, it's looking like it could be any day now.
Yeah, Oregon, Washington, Big Ten, 4 corners to the Big 12. We'll see.
Yep.
Eventually, again, I do want to, when this is all said and done, I really want to go through the Shakespearean arc of the Big 12, left for dead, not cool enough, forced to find their own way, not a part of the alliance, and now coming back and cannibalizing and eating alive the Pac-12 and ruining those who once sought to ruin them. It is really just, it's beautiful. Boys, you know what else is beautiful? I'm looking at a TV right now with Kellen Mond playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. If that doesn't say football season, dude, I don't know what does. Let's go, dude. Kellen Mond, pretty good. Doesn't get enough credit. He was a good quarterback, Aaron. He would have broken your records if he'd played a little longer.
Hey, I will say this. Someone sent me a video today because I think there's a decent amount of people out there that find it entertaining when I give Jimbo and A&M quarterbacks crap for their, sorry for those listening on podcasts, but they put the ball up, essentially above their ear. I mean, It's way up here. It's old school as old school can get. And it's just piss poor mechanics. It's horrendous. And Kellen Mond was up there too.
He's up there.
And finally, I saw someone sent me a video today of Wegman throwing the football. And guess what? The ball's right by his right pec. Just nice and easy. So, what gives me confidence in A&M heading into the season is at least the quarterbacks have better fundamentals to be able to get the balls to those elite receivers there for the Aggies. So, gets me even a little bit more juice that this could be a pretty good year for them.
Okay, so for me, I'm drawing huge conclusions from a Nick Saban smile. You're drawing huge conclusions from Connor Wegman holding the ball at titty level.
Yes.
Okay. This is
the
type of insight.
Tip of the ball, the tip at the nip. That's what we like to say as a quarterback.
Tip of the nip.
Tip at the nip. Tip at the nip.
Did you like it when you do like a shotgun snap? I always tried to snap it to the right shoulder so they could hit straight back into a drop back. Did you like that or no?
Yeah, I fucking like it. There's nothing more annoying than when a center whose only job is to snap you the football, is to the left or it's low or it dribbles back. Do they not understand that we're trying to read the defense? We're trying to see safety rotation. We're trying to see linebackers move, and they're making us bend down and duck our head. I mean, how inconsiderate of centers not to be able just to snap a ball 5 yards and hit me in the right pack. I mean, I don't get it. I'm throwing the ball 50 yards down the field. Put it on the money. You can't snap it 5 freaking yards right here on my right pack.
Yeah, you're right, because you're throwing backwards without looking through your legs while you're stepping and shooting your offhand at the same time while you're watching defensive line shift around at the last second, trying to keep track of the mic playing games, make the call to the other lineman. You're right. All they got to do is snap the ball.
Should be easy. Just snap it.
Look, how about
just snap it?
Hit one person during practice. Hit one person, Aaron Murray. One person. All y'all do. You might as well be all those high school highlights I see from the 7-on-7 camps this summer. You said, it's just a continuation of 7-on-7.
I did get hit one time in practice. This was my sophomore year. We were doing some 2-minute drill, and Coach Rick was not blowing the whistle fast enough for the defense. So completion. Cornelius Washington was I sacked Aaron. I can't hit him, but I sacked him. So finally Cornelius got sick of it and just decked my ass. I mean, just took me out. Right, blindsided me, boom. And my boy Ben Jones chased him around the entire field, trying to catch him. So much love to my centers.
Cornelius didn't fight him. Cornelius kept running.
No one wants to fight Ben. Ben's nasty.
Yeah,
Ben's got bear claws, and Ben will fight someone until he dies. There would be no quit in Ben. Yeah, so you may get one good punch, but he will go until he dies.
He stole you that dreadlock, right? That one time,
yeah, he did some of the dreadlock,
and then he used it as a light pole on his lamp in his apartment. That's the most troglodyte.
He ripped the dread off. He hooked it to the ceiling fan so he had to grab the dreadlock. We tried to hand me the dreadlock in the middle of the game.
Well, that's the best.
And then
part.
he stuffed it. Then he stuffed it down his pants. I'm in the huddle, and he's like, "Aaron, you want this? I got this for you." He's like, "Aaron, look what I got for you, Aaron." And I'm like, "Ben, there's 15 seconds. I gotta call the play." He's like, all right, and just stuffs it down his pants, and everyone in the huddle was just like, "What? This is some crazy ass white dude."
that is just such like a caveman, like, oh God, be happy. I brought you an offering. And that's a Cleveland Browns missed field goal to start the first drive of the I'm such an idiot. Every preseason, I'm like, ooh, they're gonna play the starting quarterback. Like, ooh, you're gonna see Deshaun Watson versus Aaron Rodgers. No. We're getting Kellen Mond versus, I guess, what's his name?
Everyone wants to see what's his name, though.
Zach
the true MILF hunter?
Zach Wilson? Yeah.
The MILF hunter.
Did we already forget his name? Is that how much Aaron Rodgers just erased him from our consciousness?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we got to go. Football season's here. It feels good. I'll tell you what else feels good. Getting back to regular schedule, which we will be. Brum, can I say that we'll be live streaming next week?
We will be live streaming next week.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. Snaps back live, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, Monday through Thursday. YouTube.com/@VolumeSnaps. This is where the real push begins. I'm going to have Corn Hub Kernels on deck. We're going to have preseason predictions. We're going to be breaking it all down, all the latest from all the camps. Hopefully, look, and I mean this sincerely, I hope everybody's favorite team avoids major injuries during camp. There is nothing lamer than getting hurt during camp. So let's just pray to the football gods that everybody will stay safe out there. And you stay safe getting home tomorrow, Aaron. I'm leaving here in a couple of days. Excited to get home. And a huge thank you to Ryan Brumley, Chris Tran, Paul Farrington, Pat Gunther, Adam Gracia, Danny Cardenas, The Volume, Papa Colin, for the biggest of all. Thank you, of course, to everybody who listens and shares the show with your friends. We love you, and we will see you for a brand, a football season edition of Snaps on Monday.